Hello everyone, my name is Abdullah Ibrahim Oliveras and I am from Co-Creation Coaching, and it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, so I'm happy to be doing another video again. But today I am wanting to talk about something called the law of detachment, and it sort of corresponds with the law of attraction, or learning how to start manifesting your desires. And basically, if you don't have this law of detachment in place, then you're not going to be successful at manifesting your desires. Plain and simple. There's no way that, if you aren't doing this, that there's no way that you can be successful with it. Because when you don't have detachment, when you're not practicing this law of detachment, you are going to just keep getting more and more and more of the same, because basically you're seeing your own resistance manifested in your life, and you're just going to keep magnifying it and magnifying it and magnifying it and never working through it, because you're just going to be attached to whatever you're wanting to get in life. So obviously it's very important, because if you want to make changes in your life, this is something you want to pay attention to. And I talked a little bit about this on my in my article on Monday, how surrendering to God can make the law of attraction work for you. But I wanted to go into more detail here, because there's so much that can be said here, and I see it all the time with my clients and with the people I work with. Just that they're not detaching. They're saying what they want and uh, not letting it go. You know, so that's why I want to discuss this today, because it's such an important topic when it comes to these sorts of things, when it comes to manifesting your desires. So what is the law of detachment? I'm sorry. What is the law of detachment? Essentially, it's the understanding that there is basically a paradox between your desire and the need to be detached from it. Because if you have a desire and you refuse to let it go, and you try to control it, you try to control how it goes, and you're attached to the outcome, and you're just hanging on to it, clinging on to it, um, it's not going to work, because um, you have to let it go, you have to give it up. And that's not saying you have to not want it, but you have to give it up in order for it to actually come about, in order for it to be more likely to come into your life. Because when you are attached to something, think about how you feel when you're attached to something. It's not a very nice place, is it? It's a place of fearfulness, of worry, of concern. It just doesn't feel very good. So one thing that I emphasize over and over and over again to my clients is that the law of attraction does not respond to your thoughts, but to your emotions. Okay, so you can be um, thinking about more money and a better job and whatnot, all you want, and if you are doing so from a fearful place, you're not going to get anything like that. Or if you do, it's going to have all sorts of unintended consequences. Whereas if you think about these things from a joyful place, a place of fulfillment and detachment, um, then you will be able to get those things much more easily. And it'll be more joyful, and it'll be more fulfilling to you. So that is the law of attachment, of the law of detachment. Basically, is that you need to let go. You know, um, you don't have full control. I know that's a little shocking for people, and a little blasphemous, I guess, because people want to believe they have complete and full control, but you don't. You don't have full control. What you have control over is how you focus and the way that you feel moment to moment. How do you focus your thoughts, and how do you feel? Okay, and you don't even necessarily have complete control over. You don't have complete control of your mind, of your thoughts, because they just sort of arise spontaneously. But you do have control over which thoughts you focus on and which thoughts you let go. So, but you don't have control over what comes up in life. Um, all you can do for yourself is to make room for more more good things. For God to bless you more. So that's why the law of detachment is so essential. And the reason is because when you're attached, you are attached to things. You're attached to money, you're attached to a relationship, you're attached to a job, you're attached to a house or a car or whatever it is, or a person. You're attached to things. And things are basically a manifestation of God. And what I mean by that is, money is a manifestation of God's abundance. You know, um, the same thing for a job, you could say. A relationship is a manifestation of God's love and being fulfilled. These are manifestations. These are symbols. These are things. You know, and it's like looking at a cup of water and saying, "Wow, that's a nice cup," and you pick up the cup and you dump it over, and then you try to drink the cup, and it no longer has water in it, and you're like, "Oh, I'm still thirsty." You've dumped out the water. You focus on the symbol, but what it contains is the essence of what you're really wanting. What is this? What is money the symbol of for you? It's a symbol of abundance, symbol of security, a symbol of, of safety in your life. What is that for you? If you're picking up that cup and dumping out the water, I mean, you can look at the cup all you want and try to drink it, but you're not going to get any water out of it. You're still going to be thirsty. So when you look at the water, it doesn't matter what size cup it's in or how nice the cup is or if it's plastic or glass, it's still water and you still enjoy it. So that's basically what this is. You're looking at the essence of everything. You're not looking at the things themselves. And of course, the things themselves, and we are physical people, so we look at the things themselves, but a spiritual vision is to see what is underneath those things. What do those things represent? Okay, and once you see what those things represent, then you can really start to move towards those things. So, when you are attached, let's say again to money, to relationships, to a job, you are just looking at the symbol and it's going to be empty. Because if you take the symbol without the essence of what it represents, it doesn't do anything. And it might be thrilling at first, this is really nice, but after a while it just becomes empty for you. Okay, so you can't be attached to the thing. And anytime you're attached, you know that it's to a symbol. Because when you're attached to the essence, it's joy, it's fulfillment, it's wonder, it's awe, and it's joy. It's not fear and concern and worry and lack consciousness. When you're attached to the essence, which is, to God, you get much different results. Okay? So then when you attach that essence, when you detach from the symbols, then the symbols come much more easily. If you have water with you, you can pour it in any cup you want to. The symbols come naturally. If you have the essence of abundance, then abundance can come to you very naturally. It can come through money, it can come through free things, it can come through a better job, it can come through self-employment, it can come through any sorts of different means. It can come through an inheritance or whatever. But the point is, you're not really caring how it comes. And maybe you have an idea of, maybe I'd like this, I wouldn't mind a promotion or something like that. But that's not the important thing. You can have a preference. You can hold a preference, but connect with the essence of what you're wanting, which is the abundance. So when you do this, when you do this, then things will be much easier because you're going to feel joyful, as I said, you know, um, and you're able to let it go. You're able to surrender. You're able to just give it up. And when you do give it up, when you admit to yourself you don't have power, you don't have the control over these things, then it happens. It's basically the paradox of the less control you have, the more that will happen. So the more you empty yourself, the more you give it up, the more you give in, and just allow. I really like that word allow because it feels very good. Just allow. Wonderful things will start to happen, because you're not trying to control things anymore. You're not trying to put a limit anymore. And, we can get caught up in these ego traps, where our minds pull us in with these symbols, and they pull us in with, I hate my job, I hate this relationship. This is so horrible, and what is God doing to me? And I'm so powerless, and we get trapped in. We get roped in by these stories, by these ego traps, and that's another form of attachment, because you're basically looking at the symbols and getting deluded by them. They're deluding you into thinking that they are something real, they are something to fear, they are something to worry about. And as long as you are connecting with the essence, with God, then there's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing can possibly hurt you. And that's one thing that's been a journey for me to understand, that I can trust, and the more I allow myself to trust, which is very, very hard, I admit, the more I allow myself to trust, and the better it goes. But, look at your life and what stories you are telling yourself, how these fear thoughts are coming up. This is how you're getting attached, because you're thinking, oh, I am afraid of, my money situation, because what if this happens, what if this happens, what if this happens, and you're letting these symbols delude you into a sense of fear and lack and emptiness. And it's really sad, because you're not any of those things. You are full by nature, but these ego traps are disconnecting you from your true self, and so you're basically, splitting yourself and being weakened and being, being deluded. So when that happens, you really want to look at what's really going on. Because every resistance, every so-called negative experience has a lesson in it. And the lesson may just be you're not trusting enough. The lesson may just be you're attached too much to the outcome. You're attached too much to how all this stuff happens. And it may be something else, but if you look at it, if you allow yourself to open up to it, then you can start to see how God is trying to communicate to you. He's trying to get across some message. And once you see it, and once you receive it, and once you act on it, then things will start to change. These symbols are just a manifestation of what's already going on within yourself. They could not bother you if you didn't have something going on within yourself already that allowed them to be where they are and what they are. So work on detachment. This law of detachment, putting into practice, of not judging where you are in life, of being okay with what comes up, because the more you push against, then the more you get it, the same thing. So try not to push against, try not to judge, try not to resist, try to accept, try to allow, try to embrace, try to let go, try to surrender. And that's truly the law of detachment, and then things will start to turn around for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you would like more like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can visit my website at www.cocreationcoaching.org. Thanks everyone, and have a wonderful day.